So we got the Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills. It was originally to be scheduled to be played on Thursday Night Football, but because of delays of the Buffalo-Tennessee game, it has now been moved, I believe, to Monday. Buffalo, just to remind everybody, we record these segments on Monday, so literally the Buffalo Bills versus Tennessee Titans game has not happened yet. Kansas City, to me, it looks like they're a little sluggish. I think they play better when they're playing up to competition. So when they played Baltimore a couple of weeks ago, I think they played their best game of the season. They beat the Patriots. I wouldn't say that was a great game. However, credit the Patriots. They played pretty well. The Raiders, it wasn't a complete shock, a jolt to my system, because I thought the Raiders and still think the Raiders are a playoff team. So it wasn't a complete jolt, but again, I would not have expected Kansas City to lose that game. But they played Buffalo, who, as of the time of this recording, and I think they will win this Tennessee game on Tuesday night, we'll see. But Buffalo, I think, is playing probably among the best football in the league. They're crisp. I got to say, they're probably a top 3 team for me right now, if not higher. But Kansas City coming off a loss, they're going to be ready. So let me just say this. Let me hit you with this. Fantasy football projections. Again, we don't know what happened on Tuesday against the Titans. I'm assuming everybody's still healthy and all that. I'm starting offense from both of these teams. I like Mahomes. Edwards-Helaire, I don't love the projection, but I think you got to start him. Tyreek Hill is a definite start. We know Sammy Watkins exited with the hamstring injury, so that makes like McCole Hardman and Demarcus Robinson, for that matter, a lot more interesting to me. I like Hardman more. Travis Kelce, I like. On the Buffalo side, I like Allen every week. I think Singletary is going to have a nice game. Stefon Diggs, I like. I don't love John Brown, but do like Cole Beasley this week, and I'm staying away from tight end. But why don't you go, David? Take it away.
I think the word that you use that I really like that stands out to me is sleepwalking. It seems like this Kansas City team is sleepwalking through the early quarter of the season, and whatever you want to attribute to the Super Bowl hangover, which it looks clear they were riding into this season on cloud 9. Probably didn't think they had to do a whole lot. Who knows how much work they put in over the offseason. We know Patrick Mahomes was getting paid, probably spending a little bit of that $500 million, having a little bit of fun. But right now, this team is just looking lackadaisical.
Yeah.
It's not the same superstar offense we're used to. Patrick Mahomes had 2 touchdowns, 340 yards. He barely completed 50% of his passes. He was 22 of 43. So you just look at this team, they're off right now. And then you add in, I believe Sammy Watkins got hurt. They really only have 2 real receiving options right now. So if defenses focus on Kelce, keep taking away Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill hasn't had that blow-up game yet.
Right.
I mean, this team, it's going to take a little – it's Patrick Mahomes. Let's not overreact here. But it's going to take a little bit of time. They need to get something together. I don't know what it is, but right now they're lacking.
I got to say, Kansas City, their defense isn't playing as well as it was towards the end of the year, but that's a storyline throughout the entire National Football League. The defenses, you would think the defenses would have started this season ahead based on the limited playing time, but the defenses all look, Pittsburgh's defense is very strong. They're not playing as well. Even Buffalo, their defense is obviously a very strong defense, but they're not playing up to their potential. I wouldn't say they're playing awful, but they're not playing up to their potential. Philadelphia, I mean, I could rail Seattle. There are a ton of teams. Dallas is awful on defense, right? Like, there are a lot of defenses that have taken a step back, and both of these teams, I would say, are among them. I think Kansas City has fallen, and they walked through the first 10 games of last year, too. I'm wondering if the team mentality is just like, we'll turn it on when we get to the playoffs.
They're 4-1, so it's not
right.
Like they need to be panicking. It's not exactly a sleepwalk into the wall. They're sleepwalking to the kitchen and pouring themselves in a cup of milk and some cookies. I mean, It's not like they're turning the oven on and they're sleeping.
Yeah,
the house on fire.
and it's hard for me to say, like, if I'm doing power rankings, to rank a lot of teams higher than the Chiefs, because you know how good this offense is. But the Buffalo Bills, look, I really think that the Chiefs will turn it on like they did against Baltimore a couple weeks ago, because I think they play up to their competition. And the Bills, man, they're for real. They're definitely a top 5 team to me at this point. Like I was saying, I think they're a top 3 team in the league, and they have a good enough defense to limit Kansas City, like you were saying. And their offense is, to this point, good enough to keep up with Kansas City. And given how Kansas City's defense has been playing, I mean, look, it wouldn't shock me if this was like a 27-24 game. It wouldn't, because both defenses have more potential. But it wouldn't shock me to see this be another like 40-37 game. And these teams can do this. And what I like about both of these teams specifically is they can win both ways. If they need to win a 20-17 game or a 17-14 game, they can do that, and they've showed the ability to do that. But also, both of these offenses can put up points. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Buffalo does against Kansas City, because this is like the first, in my opinion, for Buffalo, the first. Well, I guess the Rams were that as well, but this is a true test for Buffalo where they're like, okay, Super Bowl champs, let's go. And Kansas City coming off a loss, they don't want to lose 2 games in a row. So we're going to get both teams' best effort here. And it's a really good barometer. But like I said, two top 5 teams for me definitely playing. So I'm excited.
What do we got for the line on them?
Line is Kansas City -3.
-3. I was wondering for a second. I'm like, they're not going to give Kansas City points again. When we saw them give them points against Baltimore, we said that'll probably be the last time in Patrick Mahomes' career that
right.
he's given points. I'm going to go with the Bills here just because I think the Chiefs are a little bit sleepwalking, and I don't think they're playing to their potential right now. And I think we're going to need Mecole Hardman to settle in a little bit more. We're going to need CEH to settle in a little bit more. That Buffalo offense looks settled into me right now. So I'm going to take them.
Yeah, for me, honestly, because you know how I do this, I don't like to look at the lines before I write the scores down because I don't want any bias from outside things. So I always write the scores down where I think they'll land first, set my own line, and then compare it. And I had this as Kansas City 30, Buffalo 27. So that -3 is right on the push line for me. If I'm going to take one, I'm going to take Kansas City only because, and this is no disrespect to Buffalo because I love what they're playing. And I think you could very arguably put them as the number 1 team in the NFL along with Green Bay because they're just playing crisp football. But Kansas City, what they did against Baltimore, when they take, in my opinion, an opponent seriously, they've beaten the Patriots and they've beaten the Ravens. And I like both of those teams. I think they'll step up in this game, especially coming off a loss. And I think that they'll cover that spread, but I'm just looking forward to watching it. I'm really looking forward to watching it. I wish it was Thursday night, but we'll get it on Monday, so it's all good. I think it's Monday anyway, but yeah, so very good.